All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, attendees. If you hear me, give me a quick thumbs up or a hello in the chat. Just make sure everyone can hear us. Okay. I got one hello. There we go. A couple of them. So I'm assuming that means yes, you can hear me. That's great. Welcome to the MetroNet Learnabout program. My name is Olivia Morris, and I've been hosting these Learnabouts for about a year and a half now. And each month we do a different topic to help you guys learn something that maybe you didn't get training in otherwise. So this month, we are focusing on eLibrary Minnesota, and I'm very, very excited about that. And I will tell you, coming up next month in March, we're going to be talking about podcasting. So if you've ever been interested in starting or creating your own podcast, we are going to teach you how to do that. So I will actually put in the chat the link for registration. That will get you the registration for any of our Learnabout sessions, and then you can select which sessions you would like to attend. They are always on Monday afternoons at 4 o'clock. So it's usually the second Monday, but we do move it around if holidays interfere and things like that. So that is a brief bit about the Learnabout program. And like I said, today we're going to be talking about eLibrary Minnesota, and I invited an expert. I think that you guys are going to learn so much here, and I hope that you have some good questions prepared. So at any time, go ahead and hit up the chat with questions if you have them. But other than that, I'm going to turn it over to Beth and let her take it from here.
Thanks, Olivia. Yes, I love questions. So yeah, anything, do not hesitate to put it in the chat. I'm more than happy to attempt to answer it. So I'm Beth Statz. I'm really happy that Olivia invited me to talk about eLibrary Minnesota. So this is just kind of a refresher. I know that a lot of us already know about eLibrary Minnesota and what it is and how to use it, but I think a refresher is always good because I'm sure there's things in it that a lot of you are probably not aware of. So again, don't hesitate to stop me, if there's something you're unclear of or if I'm going too fast. But with that, I will just move into the agenda. And I should say I work for Minitex. I know that a lot of you are probably somewhat familiar with Minitex. But we are the organization that administers and licenses the ELM databases as well as eBooks Minnesota, which I'm going to talk a bit about as well, because it sort of falls under the umbrella of ELM. So what I'm going to do in the next, I think we have an hour, is a ELM overview. And I'm going to talk about what we call the ELM portal. It's one easy place to access the ELM databases. I'm also going to talk about eBooks Minnesota. And then I put question marks up here because if there's a database that you're curious about, or, maybe something that you want to know a little bit more about, I'm more than happy to do something that you guys might suggest. Otherwise, I usually tend to do like Britannica or one of the Gale databases. But you can, no rush to decide, but maybe just think about if there's something else you're particularly interested in. So on this slide, I just have like a tiny, tiny fraction of some of the resources we can access in ELM. So we can access all sorts of test prep, online tutorials. We can access the Star Tribune, including yesterday's issue. Unfortunately, we can't access today's issue. We can access popular magazines and journals like Newsweek, the New York Times. We can access Consumer Reports full text, going back to, I think it's probably the early 90s. And then in eBooks Minnesota, we've got access to about 10,000 ebooks, and I'm excited to talk a little bit more about that. All right, so what is ELM? eLibrary Minnesota, which is the long name, I usually refer to it as ELM. It contains online resources, including magazines, journals, images, videos, you name it, editorials, reviews, literary criticism, but it contains all of these resources, and ELM is specifically for Minnesota residents. So it is funded partially by our tax dollars. At the bottom of this slide, I have the ELM funding information. So, you know, we pay for it as Minnesota residents. So the more we use it, the more bang for our buck we're going to get. And my former coworker, Linda Mork, created this image, and I just really get a kick out of it because student researchers, of course, they love Google. I love Google, but you know, when it comes to doing some really authoritative and accurate research to get more into that critical thinking, a library database is going to be the way to go. So I just kind of get a chuckle out of this image. We're all attracted to Google for sure. This is another slide, thanks to Linda. So eLibrary Minnesota contains over 50 different online resources, also known as databases, from these different companies. So we've got Capstone, which is a Minnesota company, and they have created Pebble Go, which some of you may be familiar with, that's available for basically, I think, pre-K through grade 6. Britannica is another company that has contributed, or that we have, we have purchased databases from, as well as Gale, EBSCO, which is probably one of the largest database companies in the country. From ProQuest, we have access to a bunch of US newspapers, and then eBooks Minnesota. So the ELM contract cycle runs about 3 to 5 years, and we're at, I think 2023 would be the 3rd year, and that would be July 1 of 2023. But then there's a 2-year extension. So good chance we'll be extending the licenses on these databases for another 2 years. So this image here just kind of shows the surface web, which is just the things that we come across when we do a Google search. You know, we find Wikipedia articles, we find Google articles, but the deep web, that's where we're going to find, you know, that more sort of academic or subscription type information. And that is where the ELM databases are found. So they are in the deep web. We don't need to authenticate as long as we're coming in from a Minnesota internet service provider, we should be able to get right in. So why use ELM? So I realize that a lot of you may be aware of it. I know we all work in libraries or media centers, but I always like to reiterate why use ELM, because I have had librarians say, you know, well, I just would send the kids to Google because they're going to be able to find the information there. And it's, yes, they are going to be fine, in most cases, going to be able to find the information via Google. But in ELM, we know that the information that we are viewing is published, it's reliable, it's accurate, it's high quality information. We can also find current as well as historical information in these ELM databases. One great thing about the ELM resources is that they offer research tools. So, you know, we don't just get the article, we get all sorts of different types of tools and features to help us sort of pull out the information that we want or need from the articles. ELM focuses on all subject areas. It's for all ages. There are databases for pre-K. There are databases for adults. The best thing about it, it's free. We don't have to pay, you know, paid for partially by our tax dollars, but it's a free resource for Minnesota residents. It is easy to access, and I think you'll see that when we go to the ELM portal. And then the best thing is that it does support learning and school curriculum. And we'll take a look at a few of those things. So before I move on, I'm just going to open the ELM portal. Any comments or questions? Okay. All right, so for those of you who are not familiar with the ELM portal, the URL is eLibrarymn.org. So if you are anywhere in Minnesota, you should be able to get directly into these resources. If you are having issues, if you are maybe up in Moorhead, or, you know, maybe you're, in just, you know, in a border town, you might be having issues. For example, folks in Moorhead a lot of times use like North Dakota ISPs. So let us know. We have this contact in the upper right corner. We respond to that usually within 24 hours if it's not on the weekend. So we will definitely respond. And the main thing is we don't want any barriers. We don't want students or residents or researchers to have barriers in getting into these resources. So we've tried to make it fairly easy to access the different database or topic that you might want. So I'm just going to run through some of the things here. And before I go into any of the databases, I did want to highlight the Learning Center. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And you can find all sorts of information in the Learning Center. We've tried to make it easy, for example, to create links. Maybe you want to just create links, you know, maybe you're in an elementary media center, and maybe you just want to create links to those elementary level databases. This tab offers that information, and it is really easy. It's basically a matter of copying and pasting the link. So that is available. We also have a bunch of database video tutorials, the majority of which have been created by the database vendors. And these are anywhere from, 60 seconds to 5 minutes. So nothing that's gonna, take a lot of your time. We also have some handouts. I'm gonna click on this one. If you are working with students or, anyone, the general public, we have fact sheets as well as different activities to get people more into the databases. So these are just little activities to get people searching and working with them. We have information on finding topics and content types. We do have a tab here. It's a list of publications for kids. So this is just basically how to find a publication, which I'm going to talk about. But we have pulled out direct links to a few specific magazines and journals for little kids as well as older kids. And the same goes for these education publications. If any of you work with students on National History Day projects, we do have some information specific to History Day resources in Elm, because it can be a great starting point for History Day research. It can also be a great place to find primary sources as well. We've got information on eBooks help if you're trying to create or register for an account, or you want to download the app. Anything like that is available at the eBooks MN Help tab. And then the last thing on this Learning Center page is help or instruction requests. So we offer things like this, like an hour sort of overview. We offer, a all-day hands-on event. We can totally customize anything for a professional development day. For example, I'm going to be doing some professional development with Minneapolis Public Schools coming up. And I gave them a bunch of different options, and they can kind of pick and choose and customize how they want that instruction to go. There's no charge, and the form is available at the Learning Center. Okay, back to home. Okay, so lots of different ways to access a database. You can, if you're a student, hopefully students are going directly to the big button that says Student Research, and then they can choose what level they are: elementary, middle school, high school, or college. I'm going to go back to home. We do have a list of all of the databases. So this is an alphabetical list. You can narrow it or filter it by selecting specific topics, or perhaps selecting a specific type of content. You know, maybe you're looking for History Day information or drug guides or consumer reports. So you can narrow the list of databases by topics or content type. But just kind of scrolling through here, anything from academic databases to, let's see, Britannica Fundamentals, which is for pre-K through grades 2. We've got a business database, another health database. So you can see lots of education related databases, high school, middle school resources. We have chunked out the historical Minneapolis Tribune from 1867 to 1922, which is actually available through the historical or the Minnesota Historical Society. Learning Express Library, that is, I could spend honestly 8 hours talking about Learning Express Library. There is so much in it. It's interactive, there's tutorials, there's tests, there's career information, there's occupation information. Let's see, just going down, you can see, I mean, there really is a lot of information here. We've included a link to the Minnesota Digital Library. It's not part of ELM, but it's another great free resource for Minnesota residents. Oh, let's see, there's a pro-con database for, I think it's 6 through 12, grade 6 through 12. So great for anyone working on a debate, a position paper. Oh, and moving down, we've got a science database. We've got access to 2 different types of the Star Tribune. We've got the Star Tribune full text from 1986 to present. And then we also have access to the Star Tribune in PDF version, but that's more limited. So that's 2008 to 3 months ago. So that will let us browse the Star Tribune as we would if we had the paper copy. Okay, I'm going to go back up here. News and magazines, that's going to take you to a list of all of the databases that offer newspaper and magazine articles. Ebooks will bring you to some links so you can go into either eBooks Minnesota, you can go into the K-5 collection of eBooks Minnesota or the middle school collection. And I'll talk more about that in a bit. Job and career, this is going to take you to occupation information. Primarily Learning Express, I think, is really the place to go for anything job and career or occupation related, whether you need to create a cover letter, search for a job, learn how to create a resume, find out how much a librarian, what's the average salary for a librarian in Minnesota as compared to the national salary. So lots of different types of data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and tons and tons of specific career, job, occupation information. And then the last tab is health and wellness. So those are going to be databases relating to nursing, health, drug information. Couple other things I'll mention just from this main ELM portal page. You can do a topic search. So again, you know, maybe we're just looking for, oh, let's see here. How about information, something relating to social science? I can select that topic, click go, and it's giving us, it looks like about 15 different databases, and it's telling us our best bet is going to be Galen Context High School. So, or wait, it's 15, oh, I see, it's got 15 subjects. Okay, so it's not 15 databases. It's 8 databases, which is definitely a little bit more manageable than 15. Back up to the main page. I want to highlight this Find a Publication. You can also click on the link that says Browse All Publications. So this is kind of just an easy way to, find a specific publication or find out if a specific publication is available in Elm, and if it is, whether or not it's full text. So maybe we're looking for, how about library journal? I can type it in, I can click on search, and it pulls up all of the titles that have library journal in them. So you can see we've got anything from Journal of Academic Librarianship to Journal of the American or of the Medical Library Association, School Library Journal. And then we can click the little plus sign there to see what databases include it, as well as if it is currently added to the database. So this is telling us Library Journal is full text access in all of these databases, and primarily it looks like going all the way back to 1976. So one thing that I think is nice about using this is, maybe you have a subscription to a magazine or a journal or a bunch of magazines and journals, and you're looking for ways to save money. You can easily go into, for example, I can just go to, I'll go into Academic Search Premier. It's going to bring me into some detailed publication information for Library Journal. And then, so here, we've got an issue tree, got some, publication information on Library Journal. We've got an issue tree. And then above that issue tree, it says share. We can create an alert to this particular publication. And what that means, it's basically, I think it's a matter of entering your email and what you want to receive. If you just want article titles, if you want the full text. And what will happen is every time the newest issue of this particular magazine is added to the database, you will get an email with direct links to all of the articles in that issue. So what happens, I mean, in the Minitex office, it will be a year because we route journals. It'll be like a year before I get the copy of Library Journal. So by having this alert created, I'm getting access to these articles before most people are going to get the hard copy in their mailbox. So it's just a nice little kind of secret, great way to save money and a great way to stay on top of what might, what's being published around a certain topic area. Okay, any questions about anything so far? Okay. Okay, so I think at this point, what I wanted to do before I go into any of the Elm databases, I wanted just to take a moment in case some of you are not very familiar with eBooks Minnesota, because it does fall under this eLibrary Minnesota umbrella, but it's such a great resource for Minnesota residents. So what I'm going to do is just click on the eBooks tab, and then I'll click on eBooks Minnesota. So we did change the platform for eBooks Minnesota about a year and a half ago. We are now using Mackin. Mackin is a Minnesota company. I know that a lot of schools in the state, as well as nationally, use Mackin as sort of a platform for their digital libraries. So here we've got the home page of eBooks Minnesota. We've got lots of different ways we can search, lots of different ways we can access resources. So this is a collection of all ebooks. So when we click on all resources, it's going to give us an alphabetical listing of all of the resources in here. I do go in every maybe month, sometimes every couple weeks, and I add a new featured group. So for example, the featured group this month is Black History Month. So I can click on that and I can view these 127 books around Black history. The nice thing about eBooks Minnesota, and it's very unlike your public library's ebook collection, is that these are all unlimited access. So you can have 30 people, you can have 100 people reading the same book at the same time. So they're great for book clubs, great for classroom use. So there's no limits. There's no holds, there's no checkouts, there's no wait times. So let's just take a look at one of these. Oh, how about, let's see. I'm just kind of scrolling. How about, let's take a look at this Buffalo Soldiers. We have a couple options. We can click on the I just to get some information on this book. So here it's telling us, you know, we've got cover image telling us a little bit about the book. We've got some title details. We have linked subjects, linked topic or genre, linked categories. So any of these that you find might be, you know, right on point, you can just click on and get a list of the books that fall under those categories. In a lot of cases, we can click Cite. This is great for students, and it gives us these 3 citation styles. That can just be copied and pasted into a document. I'm going to go ahead and just open this book and show you some of the features that are available. So we're brought right to the cover. What we need to do at this point is just click our mouse into the cover, and we've got sort of our navigation tools. We can use the arrows to navigate through the book. And when we click on the book, then the navigation things will go away. We can click again and then it reappears. We can increase, we can decrease and increase the font. Most, I would say probably 95% of the books in eBooks Minnesota offer this read speaker. So I can click on this little forward arrow.
A new Army Congress reorganized the Army after the Civil War. It voted to allow Black soldiers to enlist in the regular Army based on their excellent service. It voted to allow Black soldiers to enlist in the regular Army based on their excellent service records.
It voted to allow Black soldiers to enlist in the regular Army based on their excellent service records.
And we can pause. So you can see it highlights the text as it reads, which is great. Let's see what else. If I go up to, I'm going to get rid of this window here. If I go up to the left-hand corner, you'll see there's that sort of international sign for menu. I think that's what those 3 lines are coming to mean. So I can click on that and it gives me some other options. I can view the table of contents of the book. So maybe I really just want to go directly to this timeline. I can click on that and it takes me to the timeline of the Buffalo Soldiers. I can click back on that. I can search the content of the book, which I think is one of the coolest parts of this, is that you can actually search the book. So let's see, I'm just going to do a search for regiments. And here you can see highlighted in yellow in the left-hand column, we have all of these different appearance of the term that I searched for. I could go directly to one of those pages and you can see it is circling as well as highlighting the term that I searched for. And I will tell you, with History Day students, this has come in so handy using that search feature. Okay, something else that can be done And I'm not logged in, so I'm going to have to go back. Let's see, I'm going to go back to the menu. I'm going to close this book, and I'll demo that in a different book. We can, so I'm back sort of I'll just go back to home. So here I am back at home. We can search for a particular topic. So I will do a search for crafting. And here we've got 19 books. So you can, type in a search term. Another thing we can do is we've got all these filters in the left-hand column. You can filter by interest or grade level. So let's do grades 5 through 7. And we're down to 8 books on crafting. We can limit by author, by subject, by topic, by series, by number of pages, by language. I should say there are, I believe, 500 Spanish language books in here. There are 10 to 12 Ojibwe language books. There's a couple Karen language books. There are 4 Somali language books. But we can also limit by language, by ratings, by what else do we have here? If they have that text to speech and so on. So lots of different ways to access the book. But I do just want to quickly point out you can create an account. And so I'm going to go ahead and click login. If you have not created an account, you will want to select register. And I'll just go ahead and log in. I'm hoping, see, this is where I get worried because I sometimes forget my username and password, but I did not. Okay. So I am now, it's telling me, welcome, Beth. And I can go into what's called my backpack or my folder. And I can take a look at books that I've favorited. So these are all books that I have hearted or favorited to my backpack. I can also take a look at books that I've created notes in. Checkouts and requests, it's kind of a moot point because you don't need to check out any books. You don't need to request any books. We have like full on access to all of these. But I will go into, just to give you an example, I'm going to go ahead and go into this book on 9 Lives of a Black Panther. And I am going to go, see, now I've got this little option here where I can bookmark pages. So maybe, I want to just quickly, I'll scroll through. Maybe I want to bookmark this page. I can now do that because I'm logged into my folder and it's going to, or my, my backpack, my folder, and it's going to save it. I can also, let's see, it gives me some more options. But you can also, one cool thing about having an account is that you can highlight pages or entries or paragraphs. You can choose the color that you might want for it. You can also underline, you can create notes. So, I highlighted that. Maybe I want to, say, this is the part for my conclusion or something like that. And then, so you've got that note, that paragraph, as well as that note saved. Okay. I know that's a super quick rundown of eBooks Minnesota. But just wondering if anyone has any questions or comments about it. I'm trying to think of a few other things I want to highlight. There are thousands of graphic novels. Graphic novels are the most read and accessed books in eBooks Minnesota. But there's anything, there's books for adults, there's books for teens, there's young adult fiction. The majority of the collection, I would say, is probably for grades K through 8. but all sorts of great titles in here. I mean, even stuff on deer hunting, lots about the 9/11 attacks. We even have Spanish language graphic novels. So it's worth taking, 10 minutes, 20 minutes out of your day to just kind of play around with. All right, I'm going to close that. And then I wanted to ask, is there a specific database that anyone is interested in taking a look at? Otherwise, I'm more than happy to choose, but I just thought I'd see if there was something specific. We've got about roughly 20 so minutes left. Okay, well, I think what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and take a look at, I think Britannica. Let's do Britannica because it's for such a wide audience. So what I'm going to do is just go into all databases. And I want just to make sure everyone knows, so there's different iterations of Britannica in Elm. So we've got Britannica Library. We also have Britannica Academic Edition. We have Britannica School. So Britannica School and Britannica Library are really the same. They just kind of advertise it with different terminology. So for example, Britannica School is Britannica Library, but here, I'll go into Britannica Library. Here, it chunks it out by children, young adults, and reference center. Well, when I go to Britannica School, it just chunks it out by elementary, middle, and high school. But I think a lot of it is the same content, and I think I want to focus on this particular Britannica School database. Lots of different ways to use it. Again, we could use this drop-down arrow to run a search. I think I'm just going to go ahead and go into the middle school level. The nice thing about Britannica is that the articles are differentiated for age group, and I'll show you what I mean about that. These, I'm not sure what's going on with I don't know if it's my computer, but I think these should be images and not these weird, it just looks a little weird. So we can do a search in the search box at the top. We can browse articles, we can browse images and videos or biographies. I'm going to go ahead and do a search for, I think I'll do earthquake. If I could spell right. There we go. So nice thing, you start typing in a term and it automatically gives us recommended articles, images, videos. It also shows us some popular searches. I'm going to go ahead and just click view all results for earthquake. So we've got a bunch of articles here. So it's primarily what we're going to get. It's Britannica. It's a lot of encyclopedia type information. But right off the bat, you can see we have these different reading levels. So maybe we were looking, really, we could take a look at this article, earthquake, geology. Just kind of scrolling through, we've got causes of earthquakes, we've got a little video on shock waves, effects of earthquakes, measurement, so some pretty nice graphics, another video, occurrences. This looks like some really good information on earthquakes. Maybe it's just a little too much for the person that you might be working with. So at that point, we could go to reading level 1. And here we've got an elementary level article on earthquakes for someone in, K through 5. And you can see here, it's shorter. We only have one graphic And it's a much shorter article. Okay, back to, I'm going to go ahead and go back to level 2. Same thing, you know, maybe we're thinking, oh, this is too easy. I want some more in-depth information. We could hop up to reading level 3. And here we've got more multimedia and probably a lot more content. We have lots of different retrieval options. I will say this goes for all of the ELM databases. We can save or send any of the articles in ELM to Google Classroom, Google Drive, or we can email them. We can favorite this, we can print it, we can cite it. All of the different ELM databases, depending on the vendor or the company, they offer different citation styles. I will say all of them offer MLA, APA, and Harvard. But, you know, really easy to create a citation, much easier than when I was growing up in school. We can translate this, and this goes for all of the ELM databases. This uses Google Translate. Not all of the resources do. So we could select a language, and then a computer generation of this article will occur. We can listen to this, and this is also something that all of the ELM databases offer.
Introduction. Earthquake. Any sudden shaking of the ground caused by the passage of seismic waves through Earth's rocks. Seismic waves are produced when some form of energy
We can also increase and decrease the font for readability. Let's see, what else do I want to mention here? There are also resources for students. There are resources for educators. So if I click on students, this is the thing I think that sets Google apart in a lot. Well, one of the ways is that a lot of these databases offer research tools for students. So these are worksheets that students can, or teachers can print off. Use this worksheet to, you know, pick a topic and you know, spark your research question. Let's see, what else do we have? Selecting a topic, gathering information, organizing facts, creating presentations, you know, whether it's doing a book review, an oral presentation, or a science report. You can get detailed information on how to do those in almost all of these databases. There's also a link for educators. And I'm not, because I don't have time, I'm not going to log in, but if you do create a My Britannica account, you will be able to create lesson plans. You will be able to browse lesson plans. In fact, I wonder if I can without, no, you need to sign in, and I don't remember my username. But there are thousands of lesson plans that have already been created in Britannica School that incorporate the objective, the grade level, maybe the curriculum standards that lesson correlates to, as well as they pull content, whether it's images, videos, articles. So, and then it easily lets you create a lesson plan. You can even reuse the lesson plans that have already been created. And then it gives you a real short little URL. So you can put that into your Schoology or your web page, wherever, and it'll take students directly to that lesson plan. So there's just so much to do in these databases. They really give you some awesome tools. You can also save things to My Content, and that helps you build, I think they're called packs, as well as lesson plans. Okay, I'm going to just go back to Britannica. Oh, I'm going to go into the middle again. So scrolling down here, oh, I don't like how that looks. Let's see if the high school one is loading properly. Okay, it looks like it is. Okay, so I just am in the high school level. And you can see we've got sort of the same sort of thing, articles, images, biographies. I can scroll down and I've got, on this day. I also have some flash facts. Yeah, this is not loading correctly either. Celebrating African Americans. We've got some quotes. We also have something for anyone who's looking for any sort of country information. We can do a side-by-side country comparison. So I'll go ahead, click Explore Countries, and then I can just choose countries from this drop-down box. I'll do, how about Barbados and Finland? And you can see we've got our stats here, statistics. So we've got, just your basic information that one might want to know if they're working on some sort of country report or something. We've got, language spoken, the capital, the population, life expectancy, and so on. And then if we want more, we can click on the articles and media. And this is going to give us images, perhaps some videos, as well as full articles. So I'm going to go ahead and click that full article for Barbados. And you can see this is the high school level. So we've got, it's fairly extensive. Scrolling down, down, down. And then what's also nice is the table of contents. So most of the articles in here offer some sort of table of contents. So instead of scrolling through it, you can get to, maybe the information that you're looking for. Okay, any comments, questions about Britannica? So Britannica library is basically laid out the same. It's going to look very, very similar. I did want to, I think there was one other thing down at the bottom I wanted to point out. Oh, there's also the World Atlas, and I believe this uses Google Maps. So you can just kind of drill down. We could drill down to Minnesota and then get some state information on Minnesota. Okay, I have a little bit more time. Is there anything anyone was wondering about, or any database? Otherwise, I'm thinking I'll just spend the last few minutes in Learning Express Library, because I do think that that is a database that is overlooked a lot, and it's kind of a gold mine. Okay, I'm going to close those. And I will just go, I'm going to just scroll down to L, and I'll just go into Learning Express Library. So this is quite different than all of the other Elm databases in that it doesn't really contain articles. It does have a bunch of ebooks, but you're not going to be searching like journal or magazine articles or encyclopedia information. Another thing about it is that everyone that does use it needs to register for an account. You don't have to have an email address. It's really just a username and password. And the reason that everyone needs an account is because everything you do within Learning Express Library is going to be saved. So if you're halfway through the ACT test prep, it's going to save your spot. So, you don't have to go find your way back there. It's going to have everything that you've done saved for you. So I'm going to go ahead and click on sign in, register, and it's got me in there. So I'll just click log in. And what it's going to do is take me to what's called My Center. So once you start doing things, even, you know, looking at an ebook or starting a tutorial or a practice test. It's going to save all of that to my center. I think we can, you know, look at all of these different centers that are available in here. You know, there's a career prep, job and career accelerator. There's high school equivalency, which has a bunch of like GRE prep, college prep, and that would probably be ACT, what else, like PSAT, SAT, you know, so all sorts of different ways, different centers to get into, you know, your test or whatever you're looking for. But I always find the best way to use the search box. You know, I've had questions in the past. Someone has said, you know, what type of nursing prep is in Learning Express? So I just type in nursing and here it shows me. I've got a career snapshot of a nursing assistant. I've got some nursing school practice entrance tests for, you know, biology, reading, chemistry. What else do I have? I've got nurse aid flashcards. I've got an ebook on nursing school entrance exams. I had someone also ask about like driving, and I know there's not much in here as far as driving. Let's see, what did they ask? Was it bus driver? Well, it looks like all we have in here, well, we've got the commercial driver's license test prep, as well as a career snapshot for bus driver. And just to give you an idea, I'm just going to go ahead and click on that career snapshot, bus driver, and, you know, I'll download the article. And it's their ebooks are all in PDF format, so they're all automatically going to download to your computer. So this is just, you know, basics of being a bus driver. How often do they work? A day in the life, specialties, transferable skills. You know, just a lot of detailed information on a bus driver, but it is nice because the ebooks, they automatically download, so you can just keep them on your computer. You don't have to go back into Learning Express. And they do have some really great ebooks as well. And I have heard from a couple public librarians that say, this is great to know that they have, for example, the ACT Power Practice and the ACT Word Games ebooks, because apparently they said they can't keep the ACT books on their shelves. They always go missing. So I'm just taking a look at the time here. Let's see, just a quick, how about, let's take a look at this ACT Math Practice Test 4. So this is where you're going to start the test. All of the tests are laid out the same. All of the tutorials are laid out the same. You get information about it, how to answer. You get details on the test, how many questions, how long do you have to take it. And then in a lot of cases, you get these 3 different test modes. So you can choose, do you want to take it in simulation mode, practice mode, or learner mode? And then you just click start test. And you can see I took it in, I think it's practice mode. So it is, the timer has started. You know, I want to go through, I can just mark some off. Obviously, I'm not going to get any of these right. I'll just do a couple more here. And what's so nice about it is I'm going to go ahead. I mean, we could finish later. I've got a notepad too, if I wanted to take notes, or I could score my test. So even though I've only answered 8 questions, I think I can still score it and see if I got any of those right or if I got any of those wrong. Well, I got a 3, so it looks like I got 3 right. But then what's nice is I can click view answers and I can see, okay, I got number 1 wrong. And then I can see, well, what did I get? What was the right answer, and give me an explanation on why it was right. So, and it's the same for all of the different tests, all of the different practice tests that are available in Learning Express Library. I'm going to go to home. And one more thing, I'm just going to go ahead. Oh, let's see. Here, it's right here. I want to just jump into the Job and Career Accelerator. And this is fun. It's got 2 60-question quizzes to help you find a career match. There's I think it's a skills, interests, and it's 60 questions on your skills and 60 questions on your interests, and then it'll match you up with some possible careers. And then I like this explore occupations. So if I go into this, I can take a look at, how about hot technologies? I'll launch that career tool, and it should give me a list of different occupations. So if I scroll down here, you can see, I don't know what any of these even are. How these are hot topic or hot careers around these different IT or software. So I'll click on marketing managers. I know what that is. But then you get these sort of in-depth occupation cards. So we've got a little video on being a marketing manager. We've got information on wages and trends. And this is where I mentioned that we could go in and actually see, well, how does the Minnesota salary compare? And it looks like it's a little higher. We can see projected growth as well as number of job openings. So remember, these are, I think, hot jobs. And then you can go down the line here, find out what knowledge, skills, abilities you need, what sort of tasks and activities, what tools and technology. I like the education and training, telling you, okay, this is the type of training that you might need. They also offer some recommended occupation tests to take. And then you can do anything from view available jobs via Indeed. You can create resumes. Oh my gosh, I could just go on and on. So it is kind of a hidden gem as far as the Elm databases go. And I've just got a couple minutes left, so I'm going to just stop there. I'm going to go back to my Google Slides, and I just want to stress that if you have any questions or comments about Elm at all, please do not hesitate to contact us. You can either email us at mtxref@umn.edu or at elm@umn.edu. And then I also wanted just to point out here that Minitex does offer just an emailed newsletter. It comes out every Friday. And that's where you're going to see anything relating to anything in Elm, whether it's updates or tips and tricks, as well as when we add new content to eBooks Minnesota. All of that information goes out through the Minitex Messenger. So if you haven't subscribed, I urge you to do so. Any final comments or questions? Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for attending, everyone. Please register for future Learnabout sessions. Sign up for Minitex to get more information because they offer so many great things. And if you have any questions in the future, you can go ahead and email me. I'd be happy to answer any questions. I'll put you in touch with Beth if you have questions about her presentation. All right. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, Olivia.
Thanks, Beth.
See you later.
Bye.